we have a special guest on. We have the one and only Andrew Williams. We have Kurogiri himself onto the channel. So if you were in the chat the other day during one of our streams, we had 3 heel in the chat. This is Andrew Williams, the man who went first place Swiss champ with Kurogiri, and then brought him into the top 16. And it was much more friendly banter than anything, but I figured, hey, we discussed getting him onto the channel for a deck profile, and we had to go and fulfill our promises. So yes, Andrew, we do have your deck built right now. So what we're gonna kind of do is we're just gonna kind of tag team this, right? We're gonna go through the cards, and I'm gonna let you pretty much take it away, and I'm just gonna kind of pick your brain with any thoughts and questions I have as we go through the profile. If that all sounds good.
Yeah, for sure, man. Sounds good.
All right, so take it away, Andrew, and tell us about Kurogiri.
Yeah, sure. So, Kurogiri, 719, and he's on Evil, Order, and Void. So, right off the bat, his symbol spread is super interesting. Evil right now isn't a real symbol, in my opinion.
I agree.
So you're really just looking at Order and Void, and then I'll kind of go over his responses before getting to the symbols. So he's got a enhance once per turn. Look at the top and bottom card of your deck. You can add the bottom to the top of your deck. So that's kind of selective card draw. And on the order symbol, there's a ton of card draw. You have, you have passing the torch. You got all of Ida's kicks. You have calling for backup. So you're really able to kind of sculpt your draw. And also on the order symbol, which we'll get to later on, there are a ton of good defensive repeatable foundations. So you have stuff like Heroic Lineage, or Creepy Realization, or Sticky Balls. So my idea of this is that you look at the top and bottom of your deck and you'd scout it, and you'd be like, oh cool, I have a defensive foundation. Alright, I'll draw it, and then I'll poke, and then I'll pass. And then if you do that every turn, responsibility, they can't kill you. So his response, you commit him when you're about to place an attack, they put that attack on the bottom of their deck, and then you pick an attack from the discard to add to their hand. This response just kind of like brain blasts people. Honestly, like people don't really know how to play around this response, and they do it in really weird ways. So you have stuff like, you have the obvious things like, alright, you're playing a Frigid Heatwave deck. Can't Frigid Heatwave. Make sure that doesn't resolve. You're playing a Meteor Shower deck. Alright, well, if you have 2 Meteor Showers in your discard pile, I'm not going to let you have a Meteor Shower. There's other cool things, like if your opponent plays a Specialized Sound Waves, and they use the response to stack their deck before they draw, and they put an attack on top, you can kick their Sound Waves, so they have to check a 3 on their next attack. So it's a lot of cool stuff, but normally when I would do this at this event is that I would try to do it on their second or third attack so that they would be almost forced to pass turn. But there is some counterplay that you need to do. Like, you need to remember the block zones of all of your cards that you're giving them, and you also want to give them a card that they're not likely to play. You're kind of playing this little like game of chicken with them. Like, if I'm going to give you this Zero Gravity Lift, are you going to play it on a 7 when you have only 3 ready foundations? Or are you going to build and pass?
Right.
And the longer the game goes on, the stronger he gets. There's some points in the game where you just feel actually invincible, which is just really nice. I like feeling secure in my gameplay, so...
Yeah, I totally agree. I like to play very, very similar decks, and it's a very, very versatile ability, right? Like, it kind of goes as far as like, hey, you just dropped your bomb, right? I'm gonna, send it away. To something like, oh, hey, I don't have the right block zone for this, and I don't want to take your poke, so let me send it away.
Yeah.
Or just, hey, this combo is really well with something you've got going on right now, so I'll send it away. It's like there's so many kind of layers on the full spectrum of like when you use this ability and how applicable it is to any given situation.
Yeah.
It's very much a mind game between you and your opponent on like, hey, am I going to try to bait it out with this? Is he going to take the bait? Or does he already have an answer for it? So he's going to wait for something worse? Am I even going to play something worse? It creates a lot of different gameplay scenarios that all kind of lead back to it being favorable to you, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
great way to get rid of floating effects too. Lots of like smashes and recipro extends.
Yeah, it's really brutal. Like, Sato was really popular at the event, and Sato's a Recipro Burst deck, but it's also a deck where you're trying to play like specific haymakers, like Indiscriminate Shock and Recipro Burst, and you just hose those so hard.
Yeah, sending back like they play, say like they play like the acceleration kick on like a 7, and then you send it back.
Yeah.
They're like, well.
Yeah, like you better have checked a 5.
Yeah, like even if like like they have another one and they check to 5 and they have to check a 5 again and like commit 4 things best case scenario again, it all leads back to a favorable gameplay position for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and the top enhance is just really nice. Just being able to just kind of grab whatever you need when you need it, right?
Yeah. Being able to stack your check, really great. Really great.
Yeah, I agree. I can definitely see like why this character had such legs, especially in this current format, and why like someone who was able to actually like lab him a lot was able to take him to that next level to be able to perform so well.
I expected a lot of Bird at this event, and he has such a good Bird matchup. I never played Bird, but being able to make sure that the opponent never has a Dark Shadow Ruin is so great. Like you just like kick it every time. It's fantastic. But
it's like Toru, but even better, right?
Yeah. I can talk about him for hours. So yeah, go on ahead.
Yeah, let's move on to your attacks, huh?
All right. Let's bring things out one at a time.
This stupid card.
Yeah. So what I kind of call there's like a poke package. Kurogiri's trying to guarantee value. So you can guarantee damage for your momentum outs, but you also get to tap down your opponent's cards on their turn. So if they build like on average like 3 or 4 is the normal build, and you poke with a jolt, build and pass, then if they check anything that's not 5s on their attack turns, being able to jolt down one of their cards and then being able to Kurogiri to make them commit more to pass their check basically means that this card can sometimes end their turn completely.
Yeah, it's like Breaker 2 sticky balls, but like even worse sometimes.
Yeah. And also like we're just really crazy. Like every deck's playing like 4 of it if they can play it or something. So,
I mean,
like I don't think
I mean this card is just insane. I mean the defensive applications of Jolt are just ridiculous, and like, in a character that already just wants to like completely mess up whatever you're trying to do during your turn. It's just even crazier. So like anything under these symbols is probably 4xing Jolt, but it definitely has some even stronger applications in our character, huh?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Since you mentioned the poke package, the other half of it.
Yeah. So the high engine is so you get to scout your draw with Kurogiri, and then you just get to draw the card that you want. It's also basically unblockable. Like 6/5 for 4 is if your opponent committed cards on their turn to attack, this just means that they're just taking 4.
Pretty much.
Or they're holding very specific blocks for your cards. That's also okay. Because you can also just like give them block zones for your attacks. Like if you're like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna give you highs. If you want to block my high engine kick, go ahead, man. But you're not gonna block this low that I'm fixing to swing at you. So like, it's a nice, really nice poke card that also has a lot of synergy with other attacks in the deck.
Yeah, I mean the on-demand draw. It's a kick for our whole kick package. It's a 6 high or an 8 high that like. Yeah, like it's only 4, but that's fine, right? Like you are a long game poke character.
Yeah.
And like if they really like full tap out to block 4, then you probably just get to send in anything else for just like super free damage.
Yeah. Also the block on it, really good. 1 mid block when you play tape in your deck, really solid.
It's pretty sexy. Yeah, can definitely see why we jammed this in here. Definitely, kind of like how we were saying earlier, like this and the acceleration kick really rounded out the kick package so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of the freest kicks in the world, this thing.
Yes. Yes, this is another card that just draws a card. But it's you don't have to discard. So a lot of times you just throw this at the beginning of your string every time. You Kurogiri, scout your top and bottom, guarantee your draw, and then you threaten the 2/2 on the next kick, which I sometimes don't really even throw because I don't want to tap out that much for
But at the end of the day, they usually still just have to take this and respect the potential of the next kick as well.
Yeah, and then you just pass. And then it's just like, and then you just build and pass every time. And a lot of the times people would like ask me like how I was killing people, and I would joke, I would say I'm killing them eventually. But like that's really how it is. Like you're not really stressed about the flow of the game because you will win eventually.
Yeah.
Like there was no
very hard to kill.
Yeah. I struggle to think of decks that could beat this deck in a long game. So yeah. Also, it has a lot of great synergy with other attacks in the deck, besides the ones that we've already shown.
Yeah. I mean, this is just a very, very integral, very, very free piece of the kick package, huh?
It's free, super free.
It's very free.
Let's stay on that kick package then.
Yeah, let's talk about this. This is kind of like the big poke, right? This is the the little jab, right?
Yeah. So this card is really nice. Like at first, I wasn't playing any of this card, and I was playing 4 of the other big kit. I really wanted to diversify my threats because Recipro Burst. I found Recipro Burst one time at like turn 5. So I wanted a card that I could like play. And this card being able to remove the kicks from your card pool, like the card and draws a card, which can be really good because if the opponent decides to not throw the attack you give them to wait on their turn and they build out, you can just like snipe all their attacks that they've been trying to hand sculpt, which is super sweet.
Yeah, the combo
also has a cool combo with this card here.
Oh yeah, because you make them draw cards during the combat phase.
Yup.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty nasty. I see Sato players do that a lot too. It's a pretty nasty little setup. But yeah, I mean, this thing is just crazy, and it's nice too because it kicks them from the card pool. You can like send in something else after it, or if you like just like checked really badly all the way through, you can build really comfortably after you play this card, because it's going to be the only thing in your pool.
Also a 6-low, which is just like an insane amount of base damage. Like going like Recipro Extend into this card, kick the extend to get 2 speed, and then just like build out. Yeah. Extremely valid.
Yeah.
Like
literally totally just says like, I mean, that makes it in
just eat 8.
Yeah, it's just an 8 low for 8.
Yeah, and that's 12. And when some of the most popular characters are 7-handers, that helped the 7-hander, or they had to like
that's a big
type out for it.
Yeah, that's a big
for sure.
Yeah, this card is just really hard to deal with. And then it's Big Brother.
Yeah, it's really interesting because people like always know it exists. Like if they see you playing the kick card, it's like, oh yeah, Recipro Burst. I'm like, yeah, I'm playing that card in my deck, but like, let's chill out a little bit. Like, Tape plus Ultra, Wall Cling plus Ultra, those cards are very present. So a lot of times I would play this card in the deck almost as a threat. Like it's like a false threat. Like I would side it out pretty consistently every game for Tape Swing in the side deck. Because I wanted a consistent damage source, but having it in the deck I think is the right thing. But you know, sometimes you smack them for a billion. I definitely won't say that it games. Like, I'll definitely say that for sure. But there are also definitely times where I would draw it, and it would be very dead. So, yeah, I think 2's a perfect number for that card.
Yeah,
I wouldn't play anymore.
Yeah, it's a really nice number for it to, like, exist as a threat, and if you're against the symbols that have answers, they have to hold those answers. And then if you're against a symbol that doesn't have the answers, you can just kind of bully them with this card.
Yup.
Because it's really easy for you to get, like, so much free momentum because of all of these attacks.
Yeah. I mean, like, if they let you get momentum, card's really good.
And that's kind of what your whole attack package is designed around, is just these really, really cheap pokes that just guarantee a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, kick package, am I right? Then we got this thing right here, the Tape Toss.
It has one of the best deadlock effects right now. And that's honestly one of the reasons why I wanted to play it. Because I thought that people would either overcommit into Kurogiri and die. We don't need to talk about those people because that's like an easy win for you anyway. So you have to be able to address the long game. And you know, if people save their Wall Clings or whatever and they don't use them proactively, well, this card just like snipes them off. And I want to build into Deadlock every game. Like, I don't care if you have a first villain, whatever, like, I'm down to build into Deadlock. So, you're either staying at 10, sucks in a long game, because players feel almost forced to. They're either throwing attacks and playing the sticky balls, or they're building. They're staying at 10, or way over. Yeah, this card just gets wall clings. It also guarantees momentum, basically, because it's a throw. If they force interaction for this card, if they wall cling this card, fantastic. We never really cared about this card. It was just like one of the best cards ever. And then we start into the fourth one, when we go into our alternate strategy, it gets even better. So yeah, it's just like a card we can just throw at the beginning of our string, guarantees value, and then we dodge out of there.
Yeah, like it's just a free throw. It puts actual Deadlock pressure in your deck, which like is a game state that your character pretty much wants to enter all the time, like you said. So yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's one of the best Deadlocks in the game for sure. So given that like that's a position you're more than likely forcing your opponent into because of the way you're making them play, yeah, it's really good. Just destabilizes a lot of like really threatening defensive foundation lineups.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Alright, so I guess let's talk about your foundations, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we already mentioned this card.
Yeah, the Desperate Times. Man, this card's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, this card's really interesting in this deck because you want your opponent to commit. Like that's just something that you inherently want them to do. And being able to like, it can really mess up their turn if you sometimes people just need to not draw cards, or they have to choose between, do I want to draw cards on my turn, or do I want to play another attack on my turn? And that's fine. Like that's a choice that I'm fine with either way. I'm gonna probably block your attack, or like because I think playing a 719 character, you really gotta learn how to block. Because you are so small. Yeah. So yeah, this card's really good. Also the sweet high block. Ochako and Froppy were everywhere. So having that block guaranteed is really nice. Yeah, but I play a lot of 4-ofs. I want my deck to be very consistent. I want to slam 4 copies of every foundation in my stage, and I want to just get the hooks in. Just like get the hooks in and drag them out.
Makes sense. I mean, there's a ton of decks, especially like in the meta right now, that really want to draw cards during their combat phase.
Yeah.
This card's just really nice against them, and like it's just nice to sit there as like a threat as well, especially when you can like save up multiple and be like, hey, you just never get to use your card draw, because at any point in time, if you do, I'm just gonna commit 3 or 4 things.
Yeah, 1 isn't a big deal, but like 2 to 3 of them is pretty significant.
Yeah, it's extremely scary. It can definitely say like, hey, you really like can't go in quite just yet, huh, bud?
Yeah.
Which again is like the whole thing of your character.
Yeah, it's the whole idea. Yeah.
And being able to trigger it yourself with
the acceleration kick.
Yeah.
So mean.
Yeah. It's a good way to guarantee a kill turn. Next we got 4 Gachas.
4 Gachas.
Yeah, this is just spam and a low block. Tongue Whip is a pretty spooky card. And like I didn't want to have to go into the tournament thinking, oh, if my opponent plays a Tongue Whip, I need to remove it.
Yeah, all the whip 1.3. There's just the other acceleration kicks and reciprocal. Right? Like there's a lot of spooky lows running around right now, so it's pretty important to be able to have those good lows on demand. And it's also just nice stun protection.
Sato was apparently pretty popular, so being able to that character a little bit is definitely pretty nice.
Yeah, it's like both of these cards are actually like just really important things against Sato.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
The Sato meta game we've got to be ready for.
Yeah, dude, you were ready, dude.
Playing for backup. I mean, this is just free card draw.
Yeah, free card draw. It's super important in our because we want to scout our draws. So it also basically has a nice little synergy with Kurogiri that you don't have a card draw attack. You can scout the top card, and if the top card is a card you want to draw but not the bottom card, you can put the bottom on top, play the attack, check it, and then you can call it for backup as your first enhance of your second attack to be able to draw for free, which comes up infrequently. But yeah, card's just good. We slam 4.
Yeah. Excuse me, if you've got like foundation attack, you check the foundation.
Yeah.
Now you know the attack is the next one. And draw it right away.
Yep.
That's pretty nice.
Yep.
That is pretty nice.
For tape.
Tape. Yeah, I mean this is just like one of the best defensive spams in the game.
Staple card, especially with like tape plus ultra is just crazy.
Yeah. Tape plus ultra is like such a core defensive piece, especially for like defensive 7-handers.
Yes, especially for squishy guys. Yes.
Really important. Make that tongue whip a mid. Make that what's it called? Make that 1.3 a mid. Just deal with it.
Yep.
4 bonds of friendship.
Yeah. So really worried about Taco and Proppy. Their cards are so fast.
Their cards are so fast, and they're like all high, bro. It's so annoying.
And I come from like other card games, like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, where like, I mean, I played stuff like Buddy Fight and Vanguard too, where like every card in your deck has to be good.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to play garbage in your deck. And I was like, yo, I don't think I used the enhance on this card once. I was like locked with it every time,
yeah,
and like
it's a 1 high with a 6 check. It's kind of all there is to write about, right? And like sometimes it's got a nice little relevant ability.
Yeah, like, and that's really it. Like, the 6 check's really important with our character, because if we see that it's there, we get to play super aggressively.
Yeah, we get to be real greedy when we can scout out our 6 check.
Yeah, greedy. Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man.
2 copies of self-sacrifice. Words are hard.
Yep. They're hard, bro.
So, I'm gonna go into Deadlock. And definitely points that I was finding where you want to be able to recycle your foundations. Like, you want to be able to reuse your sticky balls and stuff. And you, and this is the best card to do that, because you're trying to refresh it, basically. But also has a sweet 1 low block, and sometimes the damage is up. Like, that's basically it. Like, sometimes the damage comes up.
Yeah, I mean, you do have throws in your deck. You do have tape swings in the side. Like, it does have nice applications, but I mean, just being a 1 low in itself is like be a good tech piece. Really.
Yeah, one low with sometimes a relevant ability.
Yeah. Low blocks are like such a hot commodity even still in MHA format. And then I mean, passing the torch. This is passing the torch, you know.
Yeah. We want to draw cards. We want to scout our card draw. Cards nuts. Like, I think let's slam 4 of it, basically, in whatever character you're playing.
Yeah, it's like one of the biggest buffs about running the order symbol, right? Is you just get this super duper free card draw.
And the value is so much higher when you know what that card is already.
Yeah, especially
for sure.
If it's something that like you want to get off the top, right? It's just really, really nice.
Yeah, we're never drawing with this card blind, basically.
Yeah, no, so. This is like, hey, in the event that we aren't drawing our like 1 billion things that say draw 1, this is gonna sit there all day and be infinitely reusable to get that card out of there if we want it.
Yep. Absolutely.
4 creepies. Man, this card's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this card's like, I kind of wish this card didn't exist. That's more for set 2 than set 1, but like, you can just hose Tokoyami. You hose all the decks that want to string. It's repeatable too. So like, if you play 2 of them, you like hose like so many of the aggro characters. Anybody playing the kick package is pretty good, because you can, like, if they go like into attack, into burst with plus ultra, you're giving the attack like -4 damage, and like they better have a lot of momentum, or else their stuff is screwed. So it's just nice to have. It's more of a threat.
Yeah, like it just, again, it makes them play the game differently.
yeah. And it also makes them reconsider going in further into Kurogiri, because they know that their attack's gonna get debuffed. So sometimes they'll just like pass.
Yeah,
because they don't want to get the attack creepy.
Kurogiri can so easily like full block 2 or 3 things and then be like, oh, if you're like still playing more, I just get to like make a 4th or a 5th one just not exist because of this card.
Yeah.
And like, it's not unique. You can have multiples, and they commit.
Yeah.
They commit, so they're not going. They're not going anywhere after you do this.
Yeah.
If they don't have answers to them, like, they're just gonna sit there and dictate how they can aggro you the entire game, just like your character does.
What?
4 heroic lineages.
Yeah, dude, what's it called? These 4 of.
Yeah. This is just kind of one of the best foundations in the game, huh?
It doesn't flip either, and it's not unique. Yeah.
It just sits there and says, "I'll commit," and that's all I'll do.
Then whenever you go for your kill turn, you just like tap all of the ones you have to make an attack super huge and super fast.
Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much like never a world where an attack isn't getting a speed buff at some point, right?
Yep.
So like it's pretty much always free, and then the second that they make anything threatening to you, you just get to make it super duper easy to block.
Yep.
And it's a low block. It's not a great one, but it is a low block.
Yeah, I mean, like, it does exist. Yeah.
We have only 2 fulfilled duties.
Yeah, so using this deck for the regional, and this is a card I've already bumped to 3. Mm-hmm. I kind of underestimated how good this card would be, because I was like, like 3 high, 2/4, whatever. But I was like, man, I'm playing against a lot of Ochako and a lot of Floppy. Like, I really wish I had this card in my deck.
Yeah, it is insanely. It pretty much turns off the relevancy. Not like turns off the attack itself, but it turns off the relevancy of the attack against like Ochako, Floppy, Giro, Tokoyami. Like, it's really, really, really good. Given that we're such a defensive character, protecting ourselves from those attacks is so important that I feel like it is still worth main decking the 2 and then the 3, like you've said, you've already bumped it up to.
Yeah.
It's a very integral defensive and control piece in our deck. It's kind of the logic between the short circuit, the think fast, and the natural leader.
Okay, so short circuit was literally just for the low block.
Yeah.
I never built this card out a lot because I played against a lot of Ochako and Floppy.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue with this card, right? It doesn't reset any of the relevant bombs in the meta right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think that card's honestly very good. Taking it out since then.
Pretty late.
Yeah.
It's
good art, but
it's a sick
art.
card. Yo, bro, we jamming yays in the chat, boys. Natural leader seems pretty cool though.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of times this card plus fulfilled by duty makes a cute little game of, do you want to play your cool foundations or do you want your attack to be relevant? And especially with first villain encounter being a card that people would either side into or already main deck, you can just like make sure that they either have to play their hands on first villain, or you get to flash their attack for free. Yeah. Which is really nice. Also, it's repeatable damage or speed for all of our kicks and mids. All of our attacks, I believe, are either kicks or mids. They put in a lot of work. It's also just a one-of, so like, it comes up, it comes up.
The think fast. I see a lot of people play this card at quite a few copies. How do you feel about it as a one-of?
So, I was thinking that this card is just for the sideboard plan. Because all of our attacks guarantee value. So I was like, yeah, one of it's probably fine. But I was only thinking of the card in terms of how it functions with Kurogiri, not with how it functions with Sarah, which is in the side deck. And shout out to Chris Bromley, who gave me some scrutiny on my feature match on stream about like, yeah, Sarah when he's built as Sarah is a lot different than Sarah with mediocre stuff in his deck. So I think you almost have to play more Think Fast in this deck if you plan on siding into Sarah, because it's so important for Sarah that you have to have more copies of it. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, it's a one mid block. The effect's cool when you're going for a lethal. But besides that, like, I don't think this card really needs to be talked about a ton. Like, everybody has their own thoughts on it. It's really nice as a repeatable card, but for this event, I never really missed it until I was sideboarding into a different character, and then I really missed it.
That makes sense. Sarah's definitely like a different character when you have this card on board. Yeah, Sarah's very real. But yeah, so that is the whole.
Oh, we got 2 more.
Oh, we got 2 more.
We got to round it out with the sticky balls.
Oh my God! I'm sorry, Andrew. I almost forgot about your sticky balls. Please talk about your sticky balls now.
Oh, my sticky balls. This card is so Like, I don't think that, like, this card is so annoying. Like, especially in Kurogiri, if you let their first attack resolve and then you sticky balls them, that's basically like their turn is over. Yeah. Like, they either have to play, like, I played against, shout out to Tommy, we played another events. He was playing Life of Chaco and he sided into her 3-diff attack just so he would have an attack to play if I, like, clogged his card pool and, like, mess with his stuff. I'm like, that's really cool, dude. That attack also doesn't do anything. Like, I was gonna get that attack to you all the time. So, yeah, this card's just super annoying. The speed is super free. I've since bumped this card up to 3. I think the card is just so good. Like, you just want to see one every turn.
Yeah, I agree. You want the freedom to, like, keep it to commit all day, but also, like, you never mind finding a second one so that you can just spam the flip as much as you want. Like, at the end of the day, 2 sticky balls is just not enough. You really want at least a 3rd one, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I would even consider siding a 4th one. If you play 3, side 1.
Yeah, you can really never have too many, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never have too many sticky balls.
Never have too many. And then our last card in the main deck, 2+ Ultras.
Yeah, so I was playing this card at 3 for a really long time, but I bumped it down to 2. Obviously, it's synergy with throws and Recipro Burst. I mean, that's just kind of a thing that everybody knows about. That's the big combo. But I really just wanted to use this card to block like 9 out of 10 times. And when I'm using it to block, it kind of messes with, like, my preferred hand was probably like 2 attacks and like 5 foundations are like good blocks. And if you want to throw 2 attacks and build 3 foundations every turn, having these plus ultras in hand that you have to save is a pretty big feels bad. Especially with the main decks in the format throwing highs. Yeah. You don't want to always have to tape a card, partial it.
Yeah, just because
you don't have to partial it. Yeah,
you're kind of stuck with it. Yeah, it makes sense. I feel like I like to play 2+ Ultra in the main in every 7-hander that I play, just because I feel like they can kind of afford it, you know. Yeah. Especially if they draw a lot more cards, and especially if they're really trying to be defensive, you know.
Yeah, like in a perfect world, you know, you have one copy of this card, and then you block with it, and then you draw the other one.
Yeah.
But when I was playing 3s, I would see 2 of it way too much. And I was like, whatever, I'll side the 3rd one, bring it against the big speed decks. And when I would sideboard them to a different character, because I had so much synergy with them that... Yeah.
It is very, very good with Sero. It is very good with Sero on your tape swings. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
It makes a ton of sense. Yeah, I can't disagree with it. So I guess let's finally get into that sideboard, huh?
Yeah.
Sero. So,
man.
like, obviously, Sero is a real character for sure. We're not disputing that whatsoever. But what is kind of the logic of him being here, and why does he come in when he comes in?
Yeah, sure. So I was citing Ida spot when I was really afraid of Eraserhead, because the Eraserhead Kurogiri matchup is like, it is so bad. And I'm like, I don't want to. It was so bad that I was considering auto scooping game 1 if I lost the die roll, just so I could have more time in games 3.
I definitely did that. I've definitely done that in Kirishima Mirrors back in the day. It's very much a tactic. You need the time to actually play your games you can win.
Like, this little bit thing about time in this deck. I finished a lot of my games XO or like 101, because you want to secure game 1, and then you want to, like, you don't want to, but a lot of the times the games will go on so long that game 2 ends in a draw.
Yeah,
like, my average game length
to just, like, you know, stall the second game.
Yeah, but you're not trying to slow play, but you are playing a defensive, deadlock-oriented poke deck.
Yeah, that's just how the game states probably going to end up, right?
Yeah, my average game length, I think, my friends timed it, was like 25 minutes. But Sero comes in when you want to have some finality. Like, you have Sero, you have 4 tape swing, you have the 4th tape toss. You just want to poke your opponent. So if Kurogiri is not super good or outside him and a lot going second against decks like Froppy, where the 7 health can be really important. Like, that's just an entire attack that you've faded. Yeah, he's really, really good. Like, he just makes attacks unblockable. Like, if you're like, yeah, dude, you better completely block or take 8.
Kind of not really ever allowed to let this guy draw 2 cards.
Zero is inevitable.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice Uno reverse card, right? To be like, hey, actually, I'm a clock deck now.
yeah, and especially if they sideboard in answers to Recipro Burst, and then you turn around in game 2 and you have 0 copies of Recipro Burst in your deck.
Hey, actually, here's all my tape swings now, right?
Yeah.
Kurogiri definitely feels like a character that I would want to have a sideboard pretty dedicated to being a different character for.
Yeah.
Just in those situations where you're just not able to play the type of game that you want to play for whatever reasons, right?
Yeah, for sure. Also, Tape Swing has a great 1 high block. I'd sideboard those in even if I didn't sideboard in Zero. Card's really good.
Yeah, bring it in against like any 7-hander, right? And it's just a really, really pressing card to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, cards. All those cards are really good.
Yeah, you just have to make sure you adjust to having the 2s in your main deck now.
Yeah.
That's true. You can't play greedy, but you can scout your checks.
You
can normally.
Your 2s. That's pretty early, I won't lie. So then what else have we got in here? We have the 4th fulfilled duties. Makes sense. We kind of talked about all the guys that you would bring that in against, right?
Yep. All the Frappies, all the Ochakos.
Yep. And then 2, what's their plans?
Yeah, so this was the deck's Giro matchup is actually super bad. It is awful, and I know like webcam Giro is a meme because like people just like don't want to play her. Like a buddy of mine who ended up also top 8ing this event loves Giro, huge Giro fan. But whenever we would practice playing with webcam Giro, he would hate it so much, and he was like, I'm not gonna play it. So this is for like sound waves. 0 gravity lift is a huge issue. Like, it's probably like, if I could think of a single attack that makes this deck suffer, it is that. They all just like kick their attack. Taco's a big deck, and they better instantly like commit for +3 or use that jolt. Because if they're not,
they have to play completely differently. Like, they have to wait till a point where they get a momentum that doesn't matter, that they can display. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And that's really
and if they're waiting, that's your plan. You want them to wait so that you can wall up against them.
Yeah, and given that you can orchestrate what attacks they get, right, that's not a hard situation to facilitate.
Yeah, for sure. They can't just like throw attacks for value. Like, they have to like be very intentional about what they're doing.
Be a lot more intentional, especially how they use their abilities to like just deal with this card. And the whole time it just sits there, not needing anything from you to force them to play so differently, right? Yeah, it's a really, really good control piece, especially when that's like the whole meta right now is air decks and momentum,
And then last is the 3rd plus Ultra.
Yeah, I imagine you just kind of bring this against anything with bombs and when you're playing Zero and Tape Swing, huh?
Yep. Zero, Tape Swing, you want all of them. You just want a Zero, Tape Swing, build pass.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it.
Makes sense, man. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Man, dude, what a cool deck this is. I'm not gonna lie. When Kurogiri first got shown off, he's just one of my favorite characters in general, like from the series. I just think he's very cool.
Yeah.
I just think he's rad. And I was really excited when his character finally got shown off, and I was like, man, this character seems really cool, but I don't know that the cards exist like to play the type of deck that he wants to play right now. Because I feel like I saw like the same idea that you saw in your head. I just didn't think it was very probable. And then you were like, well, I'm gonna make it. Well, I'm gonna go Swiss champ with it.
Yeah,
so, I'm really glad to see that you did that, man.
Yeah, I'm a huge League of Villain stan. Like Shig and Kurogiri, I was like, yeah, dude, these characters are nice.
Yeah, dude, I'm in the Mr. Compress waiting room myself personally.
Dude,
I like that,
Mr. Compress would be so cool. I probably bad, but I'm really excited for I can't remember his name now, the Gecko.
Spinner. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do for Spinner, man.
Yeah, I hope it's gonna be like a Stain retrain.
I hope so.
But yeah, like he's like, somebody I was hearing talk about him was like, he's not good until set 2. Don't play him if you're not playing Void for villains defeated or set 2. I don't think that's right. Like, I just I want to try. Like, and I also, huge shout out to Chris Nixon for selling me one of these. But I paid so much money for my Kurogiri that I wanted to feel like validated. Like, I spent money on this card for I told my friend, I was like, much money on this card, I will main this character. Like, I will.
He's got such a nice foil.
There is very little that validates you quite like being Swiss champ.
Yeah,
you definitely got there.
He does have a nice foil. Like, he sent me, Chris Nixon sent me a picture of the foil, and I was like, dude, I this card. Like, I just gotta do it. And on top of that, I did something bad. I bought this Kurogiri for a lot of money.
My man was down bad, bro.
I was down bad. I almost, because I was like, listen, guys, I don't think it's the right choice, but if I ever get a Kurogiri, I'm playing it wherever events I'm playing it at. And they went, yeah, that's really stupid, dude. I was like, nah, dude, Kurogiri best deck, man. And they're like, yeah, dude, whatever. And then it was like, yeah, dude, Swiss champ.
Yeah, didn't you have a live cash bet with someone that you could Swiss champ with this?
I did. Yeah, shout out to Brad Townsley. Yeah, I was like, yeah, dude, Kurogiri's the best deck in the format. And then they're like, nah, dude, you're geek. I was like, nah, dude, trust. And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna be Swiss champ, and I'm gonna prove you all wrong. And so, yeah, dude, whatever, $50. So, all right, now I have to do it. Like, now for. Do it for the clout reasons.
Yeah, dude. You have to do it for the fans, bro. You gotta do it for the fans, bro. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm really glad that you were able to figure out something that worked. Because I mean, I can tell how happy you are that it worked, and just how passionate about this deck in general that you are. And I can definitely relate to those feelings. You know, it feels good when the homebrew really comes together. You know.
There's some decks that you want so desperately to work, but they just can't. And that's part of being a card player. You just have to accept that not all your cool ideas will work in a serious format. Mm-hmm. So being able to have this cool idea and be like, yo, it's not garbage.
Yeah,
it was
the other part
really
of being
sweet.
A card player, right? The other part of being a card player is trying all of those stupid ideas no matter what. And then the validation when some of them actually work, right?
When it works, yeah. It's really nice.
Man, do you have any closing thoughts, man, before we sign off? Any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah. So shout out to the Beham Boys play group for playing against a character that they never played in the entire tournament. So they play tested hours with me, and then they never got to use that knowledge on anything. Definitely appreciate that. And then shout out to for being super cool and selling me the character I played with, and then allowing me to.
Chris Nixon is one cool guy. He's one. Cool
he is one cool guy. And then he literally I just asked him so many questions. I was like, how do you feel about this card at 2 or at 3? He was like, ah. And then okay, cool, I'll try it. And then last shout out to everybody who was super cool about Kurogiri doing well. They were like, yo, I can't believe Kurogiri did well. And I was like, yeah, dude, give me your energy.
It's hype, man. That's why I wanted to have you on to do this, because I was like, I know this is just gonna be hype. This is just gonna be a fun video to do, man.
Yeah, it was and then after it was over, everyone was like, yo, dude, it's so cool that you top of that character, dude. I was like, yes, I didn't this is the first I played. I was kind of a meta sheep for the first 2 because I wasn't super confident. Because I played standard universes primarily before this event. And then I was like, I'm just gonna play a character I really enjoy, and we'll see how it goes. I was like, wow, I don't have to play Eraserhead and Kamui Woods. I can play whatever I want.
Dude, that's how I felt when Kirishima got hit. I was like, I'm free.
After 2,000 years, I'm free.
I'm free. Yeah, that's how I felt too, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
but
I can't wait to see what you do more with this guy in the future, man. I'm ready to see the set 2 Kurogiri lists, bro.
oh yeah, dude, we're already brewing.
Oh,
We're already brewing.
Yeah, man, that's what we're doing over here, man. But yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming on and doing this, man. I really appreciate it. This was an absolute
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and this is Alliteration Gaming and Andrew signing off. We'll see you guys later.